Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Lights Camera Rant. We're going to be looking into the Boys Season 4 trailer, Acolyte brand new trailer, The Rock versus Amazon apparently, and so much more. Before we dive in, you know what comes up first.
Welcome to the Light Camera Rant Podcast, your source for the latest on movies, TV shows, and video games. Get ready for ranting, raving, and reviewing. Here is your host, Lee.
How we all doing? How's everyone going? What's new? What's up? And welcome back for another episode all together. But before we fully dive in, we all know what comes up first. That is the good shit. So, what a week we have had. So, happy May the 4th for everybody. Even though we're recording, it's actually Revenge of the 5th today. I know, it's a terrible dad joke. I get it, trust me. But yeah, May the 4th, we've had so many trailers, we've got release dates. Also, surprising release dates surprising games I wasn't expecting this week, but we got it anyway. So that's really good. And then another banger episode of XMen 97, which I can't wait. We're going to dive into at the end of this episode before we get through all the news. But before we dive into that, I would like to say that look, if you haven't, go check out our most recent movie review. We did a taste of life. It is a taste of things. Sorry, Taste of Life. That's a different movie. But we just reviewed that. It's my very first French film review. It is one of the most delicious films. As funny as it is to say that, it really is. About 50 minutes of it is just delicious to watch and food making. But I highly recommend you go check that out and let me know what you think. The movie only goes for 2 hours. It doesn't go for 3, and it's fantastic to absolutely watch. So I highly recommend that. And I'd like to say a big hello to Cal on YouTube. Thanks for coming past, man. Appreciate it. Hope you've been traveling well. But thank you again for coming past. It's always a pleasure. But look, as I said, this week has just been nuts. I gotta say, like, first things first, off the top of the rank, is that apparently right now Marvel has figured out what they're going to do with Avengers 5 and Avengers Secret Wars. So Avengers 5 was going to be Kang Dynasty, but we know that's completely out the window. It is gone. Whatever, gone. Well, not entirely gone, but at the same time, it is a little bit of a mess. Right now, what's going to happen with Kang is up in the air. They removed the title. There's no mention. Avengers Secret Wars name is still there. That's still set. And of course, the Avengers films have been pushed back 2 to 3 times, which has made everything a little bit harder. Now, apparently the rumor is that Marvel has told a few actors to clear their schedules to get ready for filming for Avengers 5 and 6, because they're going to film it back to back, very much like what they did with Infinity War and Endgame. Now, apparently the rumor is that they've figured out in the sense that if they have, like, they know what we're going to be doing forward, and if they have, then D23 or Comic-Con this year is going to be nuts. Like, it's just going to be like, holy shit on what how much of a plan are we going to get? Everything they've fixed, the time, not to mention roughly around when we're meant to go get D23, which is usually August, roughly about there. I'd say they'll probably give us the first look at Captain America, Cap 4, Brave New World trailer. Because we've just got Cap first set photo, but his new suit, which looks absolutely sleek. I loved it. And it's very Winter Soldier vibes. They've said this. I know a lot of people say, a lot of films like compare, like, oh no, Winter Soldier this, Winter Soldier that. Deadpool the fight scenes in Deadpool 3 are going to be like Winter Soldier and, Brave New World. It just shows you the kind of bar that Winter Soldier really set. And it's true. It's 100% true on the kind of bar that is. So that's, I really hope we get a trailer for that. Maybe we get a teaser for Thunderbolts. So let me rephrase that. Thunderbolts asterisk. That's what it's going to be called. So hopefully we get a teaser, but we are going to need a trailer for Cat 4 because Cat 4 is coming in Feb next year. And it's funny because like this year at D23 or Comic-Con, we're going to have our Fantastic Forecast as well. Like on stage together, and hopefully we get a first look for that instead of just a poster for Valentine's Day. So hopefully we get the plan for Avengers 5, Avengers 6. We get the new trailer for Cat 4 and every other little surprise that's going to drop. I'm just going to eat it up alive. I wish I could go. I really do. Moving on. So Tron Ares is coming out next year, October 2025. This is a long-awaited sequel to Tron and Tron Legacy. Now, the big thing about this movie was the fact Jared Leto is going to be starring role. Now, one of the big question marks was Jeff Bridges going to return in his iconic role in the movie, which I have an answer for that. It's yes. Yes, he will be. It showed on he will be returning for the role. Not too sure what capacity he will be returning in, but he will be returning for this movie. Now, Tron is just one of those films that's gone in and out of development hell, in and out all the time, repeatedly. So the fact that everything's moving forward for this brand new Tron is fantastic. I can't wait to see it. I just like the aesthetic, the world that is Tron. So take my money. I can't wait. I'm just ready to see that Jeff Bridges has returned and he's going to be coming over for this. Curious to know what type of size of role he's going to be after the events of Tron Legacy, but we'll find out. Okay, so not only in the past week we get the terrible Velma TV show that had ScoobyDoo Killer and such other mess. I'm not joking. Like that's legit. Is that apparently Netflix has landed the rights to produce and create an upcoming live-action TV show of Scooby-Doo. So there has been, I think it's about 4 Scooby-Doo live-action movies. The 2 most notable ones, 2 more that have gone directly to DVD. But I'm all down for this. If they can land this right, and they get a Scooby-Doo TV show very similar to the animated old classic cartoon, I'm all for it. I'm very curious what it'll look like. Netflix right now, with One Piece, have done fantastic. So Scooby-Doo could be the next big hit they will have. How it's going to look, I highly doubt any of the original cast members from the live-action Scooby-Doo movies are going to come back. I think this will have to be a completely clean slate of new cast members. And I really hope we get the simple plan intro as well for Scooby-Doo. Who's up with me? That needs to happen. I probably won't, but if they did, rest doesn't matter. As long as they have that intro, it's coming. But no release date, nothing at this stage. Scooby-Doo, if it's just happened right now, we're probably looking about, you're probably looking at that end of 2025, 2026. Actually, no, 2026. If they're just starting right now, 2026, you're probably looking at Netflix Scooby-Doo live-action TV show. Superman fans, my adventures with Superman season 2 has been confirmed. We're going to have a brand new trailer that looks impeccable and looks sick. That will be dropping on May the 25th with a 2-episode premiere, and that's going to be happening on HBO Max. For Australia, it's I was going to say Prime. No, it's Binge. It's going to be on Binge, I'm pretty sure. So, but this show surprisingly has done really well. And it's a really good love letter for Superman fans who feel like they're not getting enough love with what's happened with Henry Cavill, no video game. But don't worry, between this and Superman next year, Superman fans, you're going to be a hot topic. But I can't wait for season 2 for My Adventure Superman. Thor. All right. So Thor, let's get into Thor. Chris Hemsworth has publicly come forward and said that they missed the mark on Thor 4, Love and Thunder. He said the fact that, he acknowledges that they missed a step. He became a parody of himself, and the wackiness was too much. And he feels like he owes it to the fans to make Thor 5. Now, I'm all for down for this. I know a lot of people are like, oh, we don't need another Thor film, or we don't need this. I'm like, no. If they can do another Thor film, Hercules obviously going to be the bad guy after Thor 4. And we get like a dark-ish, gritty Thor, which justifies, I don't know, like Hercules takes his kid and he has to go in a real dark place and he just becomes brutal. We're getting the R-rated Deadpool movie. I know a lot of people claim we could see a really, dark Thor, and I'm down for it. I think a lot of people will be down to see Thor go down that road. Yes, it's going to be a little bit cliche of, someone, you've taken my daughter, I'm going to come and kill you, Taken, Man on the Edge. There are so many movies of that same type of plot. But at the same time, this set in the Marvel Universe, seeing Thor go into a dark place that we've seen, not so much a dark world, but first Thor going something like that, I think would be really refreshing. And not have Taika Waititi return. Man does a good job, but we don't need Taika Waititi return. That's been done, and unfortunately it's been done too much to death. But I will happily accept Korg. Korg, you can come back, but Taika Waititi in the director's chair, no. No, thank you. But I'm glad Chris Hemsworth has said that. So far, a lot of the feedback I've seen comments, people say, I'm glad he's acknowledged it, but no one's having a go at him for it. He feels it. Because right now, Chris Hemsworth is going around doing all the press and tour for the brand new Mad Max Furiosa film, which we will be reviewing that when that comes out, because that looks absolutely sick. Now, this was the game I was telling you that is surprisingly out of nowhere, and I was like, okay. So it's been about 8 years since the last Batman Arkham game, Arkham Knight, obviously. And then we got the Suicide Squad, Kill the Suicide Squad, which was set in the Arkham universe, essentially a sequel, essentially like that. So we're getting Batman Arkham Shadow. Now, this is only a VR game. Now, there is a Batman VR game, very short, loved it. But this is their second attempt doing a Batman VR game set in this universe. The trailer is very short. It's only a teaser trailer. Looks to be something to do with Ratcatcher, just for saying all the rats. But not to mention, judging by the suit, it looks a bit like Batman Arkham Origins suit, just the way it's shaped and everything, or the way he looks. Because you can just tell out from the trailer and what that he looks like, and it doesn't look like Arkham Knight suit at all. And it doesn't look like Batman Arkham City suit either. So this will most likely, obviously, will be a prequel. So it will take maybe between Arkham Origins and Arkham Asylum between that gap. But I'm really curious to see what this is going to look like when we get another trailer of the gameplay in the VR headset. But yeah, this was a bit like, okay, sure. I didn't know anyone was clamoring for a Batman Arkham game in VR again, but alrighty. Why not? But yep, that's what we're going to be getting. Now this I'm super excited for. Now, this game has been in development for a very long time to be coming to Xbox. Hypercharge Unbox. Now, this game is currently on Steam. It's currently on Twitch. It's been there for a while. And about 2 years ago, I want to say, 2 years ago. About 2 years ago, they said that they're going to be coming to Xbox. And it's been a very long time coming, because they said it was going to come to Xbox. And every time they said that they anticipated the launch, it got delayed because of multiple things. Now, this game, there are only about 5 of them developers who are making this game. So it's a very good reason why it's been delayed so much. And unfortunately, I've seen so many hateful comments about this on the Instagram, on the Discord, and YouTube. I'm like, give them a break. There's only a handful. It's not a major thing. So give them a break. So that's the hard thing about this game. But now, past week, we finally got the release date, May 31st. Now, the reason you're probably asking me is, Mr. Rant, why should I give a shit about this game? Because this game is almost a love letter to classic games. Because when you buy this game for $40, you get the entire game. There is no extra bits. There's no everything in the game. You get that. You get all the levels. You get all the characters. Yes, there is downloadable content, but it's only cosmetic, reasonable cosmetic, nothing extra to it. You get the whole game. Is split screen, which is back. You know, it feels so ages since there's been a split screen game, but we're finally going to get this. And it's just, you play as an action figure that you can customize ridiculously. There's 8, I think it's about 14 or 15 levels to this. You can do a horde mode. There's bots. It's just action. Toy Story meets Call of Duty. That is literally what this game is. And I'm so excited for this because I'm just excited to play a game at split screen. That's probably my most thing is like, finally. And when I saw this, I was like, when I first saw this for the first time, very long time ago, I was like, this looks sick. I don't have a PC that can run games like that. Nor do I have a Switch. I don't have a Switch either. So I was like, okay, and it's coming to Xbox. Now, your PlayStation fans are probably like, oh, well, it's not coming to PlayStation. Why not? So Xbox allows you to get in a lot easier bringing in new games, obviously, because, you know, beta testing, alpha versions, you can bring in games a lot easier. That's why you see games coming on Xbox and PC a lot sooner than they do on PlayStation. So PlayStation will come later. I'd say maybe the end of the year or next year, because right now they're going to be absolutely consumed with the launch of Xbox. So I'm really curious to see how this is going to go. So look, small indie developer games, I highly recommend this. This is a Saturday afternoon game that you pick up with your friends and you smash out pizza, drinks, and everything else in between. Also, side note is Helldivers is in so much trouble. So apparently a brand new thing has come out where they've said that to own Helldivers, to play Helldivers, you need a PSN account. And that has completely upset the gaming community about this. Now, in saying that, yes, you do need an account to play Red Dead. You also need an account to play any Ubisoft games, and you also need an account to play any 2K games, which I had to do with Top Spin 2K15. Had to get an account. So that I understand, but the community is really pissed about this, to them leaving negative reviews on the game. Is this the end of Helldivers? No, it's not. Are they going to lose a portion of the player base? Yes, they are. But Helldivers, I feel like it's too much of a big momentum of a game that it's going to be absolutely killed by this. You know, yes, you have to make an account. Like anything in this world that you have to do, you have to make an account for. Even if you want one bloody thing from that website, or you just to look up something you need to make an account for. Like if I get my local newspaper and have a look at an article online, I have to make an account. Even though I can go down the shops and buy the paper for, I haven't put the paper in a very long time. But if I want to have a look what's in that paper online, I have to make an account. So that's shitty. So, yes. What I'd love to know, what do you think about Helldivers? Is this the end, or this is just a small grub that the gaming community needs to get over? Very curious to know what you think. Sausage Party. Now, I totally forgot that this was currently going to be in development, and it's right around the corner. So, the R-rated out there world of a movie, which is The Sausage Party, is getting a sequel in a TV show form that is dropping on Amazon Prime on July the 11th. Now, this is, like, if you haven't seen Sausage Party, it is wild, effed up, insane, messed up. I don't know what else I can say, but that is Sausage Party. This is probably not something you watch with your parents. No way. But All the original cast are coming back. This is also part of Seth Rogen's brainchild. So original creators, everyone, this isn't like a cheap spin-off kind of thing. This is a full sequel. So this is coming out on July 11th. So get ready for Amazon Prime. I will be watching it, but I'm very curious to know what this is going to look like or what's going to happen. Now, this is the story that's very interesting. Amazon versus The Rock. So apparently The Rock has caused some grief due to filming and scheduling with the upcoming Red One Christmas movie that's coming at the end of this year, starring The Rock, Chris Evans, at the end of this year to do about Santa. So apparently the story goes The Rock has been coming up to set about 7 to 8 hours late, causing delays and apparently peeing in water bowls to save in time, which I didn't know that was a thing he did. But apparently I did see on someone's TikTok, they showed a video of his Instagram story where he had the bowl in the background and mentioned it. I was like, just go to the can. Just go to the can. Pretty sure you got time to go to the can. Sorry, I'm just thinking of that GIF. But yeah, apparently he's because of all this, not peeing in the can, sorry, not peeing in the bottle, but being late, has caused about $50 million extra due to this movie, which apparently has soured the relationship between Amazon and The Rock. So at this stage, I don't think Amazon are going to have The Rock in any upcoming movies or TV shows anytime soon. But yeah, I'll be curious to see how much more is going to come from this story. But this movie is coming out in December, end of this year. The boys! Jesus. This week, we got a brand new Boys trailer, and it is sick. It is bloody. It is everything you wanted in The Boys. I'm telling you, this summer is going to be nuts. Between The Boys and Acolyte coming out week after week after week after week, I can't wait. Now, this trailer, this brand new Boys trailer, does show us what the team's been up to. We see the Gen V cast members in the background, and we see basically Homelander is still nuts in the head, and they're going to start killing humans, and they're going to take over the world. And acknowledge the fact that Butcher doesn't have much time to live because he was taking the Comban V in the last season. So he's struggling with that. We have seen of all the new cast members, all the new heroes, but it is looking just as bloody as anything. There is limbs getting cut off, people exploding, people dismembered. Also, now bear with me. Flying sheep or goats that look like they've taken Compound V and on a murderous rampage. I am not joking. That is legit what's in the trailer. If you haven't seen it, you need to go check it out. But The Boys is dropping on June the 13th, and we are going to be reviewing it every single week. And I want to know, what do you think of The Boys trailer? Are you excited for this at all? Or do you feel like this is a bit of a repeat of the same thing again and again? I know if you do, I'd be very surprised if you do think about that at all. Because this show is just up here. Invincible, XMen 97 is up at the top. And this is going to be it. Because remember, it's about 8 episodes long, hour each for episode. But this is just going to be wild. Not to mention, I'm really curious to know how end of Gen V ended goes into this season and how that's going to exit this season when we get to the end, which I have no doubt that this season is going to have another absolute brutal ending. You're just going to be looking at The Boys and going, what the F? That's what you're going to get. Without a shadow of a doubt. And then we also got the brand new Acolyte trailer with Acolyte new poster as well. Now, this trailer, again, is showing... Now, remember, this is 100 years or so before Phantom Menace. So there is a cluster of Jedi. Sorry, and they haven't seen a Sith in it at all. And they say, something's going to happen in peace in time, and something big is going to happen, and the first Sith in a very long time will rise up and start killing Jedi. And it's funny it's not really funny, but when I did say, it's like, he's going to start, someone's killing Jedi. I was like, well, it doesn't stop. Yeah, it doesn't stop. There's a lot of killing Jedi, a lot of Jedi death. Even here, even in the future, even with someone rising up. And yeah, that Jedi death just keeps going up. But yes. Now this trailer, look, the first trailer I watched, I was like, okay, cool. And I know they did say a trailer was more of a teaser, but it didn't really. This one got me a whole lot more hyped. Now, a big reason that I'm really excited for this show and more hyped for it is because, yes, we got Ahsoka last year. Brilliant. Loved it. Fantastic. Was definitely put on the heartstrings. But what I'm excited about this show is that this isn't connected to anything. Like, it's nothing Skywalker saga right now. This is something completely separate, years ahead. So we're getting all new people, setting everything all together. So I'm really excited to see that and what this story will take. And not to mention is, what will this story go to lead into? Like, will there be a season 2, or will there going to be something else? So that's what I'm going to be really going into, because later this year, at the end, roughly about December, November, we get the Skeleton Crew. With Jude Law. Now, the Skeleton Crew is set in the Mandalorian universe. So I do believe this will be a sequel to The Mandalorian Season 3 and Ahsoka Ahsoka. Ahsoka timeline. So this will be set around about there that we're going to be getting into this. But so this boys and the year, it's looking really good. But what do you think of the Acolyte trailer? I want to know, what do you think? What didn't you like? Could you not give a shit because the fact there's no connection, or are you excited for something fresh? I'd love to know. Now, this is something that I wasn't expecting when I was reading it. So the Deadpool 3 synopsis has changed. So in saying that we know the fact that Deadpool is going to be fighting a range of villains from different XMen movies, trying to save the MCU, being Marvel Jesus, but apparently he is also going to be going to iconic moments from phase 1 to 4 in the MCU and giving his R-rated spin on these iconic moments. And I'm like, reading this, I'm like, yeah. Yes. Holy shit, yes. I am in. So, iconic moments, like we can see Avengers, they assemble with Deadpool being there, Avengers 2 when they go through the woods, Thor 3 on the bridge, Black Panther, Guardians of the Galaxy. There is so much they're going to play around with this. And I knew it was going to be like this, but this just went like this. It's just expanded on what we're going to see in Deadpool 3. And this is going to be the most, they're going to nail it. They're going to have to nail it. So again, people like, we're only getting one Marvel movie. This is the Marvel movie you want to see this year. It is the only one we need this year. When we get next year, we're getting 3 next year. So that's something else entirely. But what's going to happen in this movie is going to be bloody wild. I'm thinking we're going to do the boys, we're going to do the Acolyte. And then at the end of that, boom, we get Deadpool 3. And I got a very special guest for Deadpool 3 review who's been on the podcast 3 times. And he's going to be making his 4th appearance for this. And I can't wait to have him on. But yeah, Deadpool is going to be going to the iconic moments of the MCU phase 1 to 4. So that was the biggest news that's happened in the past week. Now let's dive into X-Men 97, episode 8, Tolerance of Extinction, which is part 1 of part 2 and part 3, which we are now going into the final 3 weeks of X-Men 97. Now, again, as I said, this episode is a banger. Absolute banger. I absolutely love it. I just realized something too. I've read X-Men 94, not X-Men 97. I'm like, no, X-Men 97. So this episode is obviously a sequel to the last episode. Before you ask, there is no Storm. There's no Storm in this episode at all. That's 2 episodes in a row we haven't seen Storm. So she'll be coming looking like from the, I wouldn't call it a mid-season trailer. I feel like we got like the final trailer that she will be appearing in episode 9 and 10. And this episode was explosive. So this episode starts off with Cable telling the team on what happens in his future with Bastion. So what happens is, in his timeline, Bastion uses the events of Genosha to create his Prime Sentinels, which Prime Terminators, basically, at the end of the day. He actually uses them to advance the human race, but then uses mutants as the backbone to build everything, so they become slaves, essentially. Where the human race succeeds, thrives in all this. A blend of Terminator powers given the human evolution chain back to humans and not to mutants, essentially. But he also mentions that why and what happened with Genosha. So if you remember 3 episodes, you're going to remember the Genosha episode regardless. But he goes back and he sees Madeline. But as he goes to see Madeline, he gets taken away. And we all assumed it was just to do with his time cube and his time. But we find out that's not the case. He said, now this is a bit gut-wrenching too. He says that apparently he's tried to go back. Wolverine says, why don't you just go back and instruct Genosha? Well, he does say he's tried. He does say he's tried it multiple times to the point where he's given up, which I'm like, ooh, that would be rough because his mum's there and he's had to watch her die repeatedly again and again and again and again and again. Now, he says he can't because time takes him away. Where B says that, according to Camotage, that there is such thing as an absolute point in time, which was a great callback to What If Season 1 with Doctor Strange, and he tried to break an absolute point in time, which we found out what happened, and that went essentially, which we all know. And it all happened with Doctor Strange and Supreme Doctor Strange. And I love that callback to Doctor Strange. You know, we also got another callback from Doctor Strange with, I just forgot his name. Where he helped Storm. You could see he was doing all the mystic arts to stop the Crow. So I do love that callback as well. And it makes sense. And it's something event this big be an absolute point in time because you can't go back. Everything that goes forward, all the events that will follow after that. So it's very interesting. We see that, and you know, it's for us diehard fans, we know what an absolute point in time is, and we understand it. And for everybody, for the casual fan, they'll still understand it as well. So basically, they say, Cable says, we have to go. I know where a Prime Sentinel facility is being made. We have to go and change the future. So they say that, and then the UN, which we knew Bastion was going to post about the interrupted transmission of Charles Xavier, telling the world, or telling the Empire, that he has taken it. He's with his princess. That in that interruption, that plays in the UN, and the whole thing about the UN is the fact that are the X-Men faked Xavier's death to get support, which increases the attention of what's going on right now and Bastion's plan, which I loved. Perfect. Makes sense on what's going to be happening next. Now we also found out Mrs. Cooper, she's alive, which we already knew. We didn't find a body. So, because remember, in superheroes, TV shows, cop shows, anything, if there's no body, they can come back. So we can see here that she's back. We can see Magneto now. She's talking to Mr. Sinister. She's talking to Bastion, and we see Magneto. Magneto is strung up on a giant X with the power dampener collar, with TVs all around him, showing him what's happening with the world right now. Why Magneto is in the Speedo, I don't understand. I'm like watching going, right, why? Why did Bastion put him in a Speedo? And I know a couple of people are going to go, oh, because he got so no metal. Put a cloth on the man or something. Why just a Speedo? Which is why I made the thumbnail of this video, because I'm like, well, that's a catching scene. So he's alive, and she's talking about Magneto, and she's saying how sorry she is with everything that's happened. Everything that's happened with, and she felt sorry. And she's like, and I know the theory that's going around that she is actually Mystique, and that's how she survived. That's why she's feeling so much for the mutants. But again, this entire episode, which you have, if you haven't already, spoilers left, right, and center. So if you haven't watched this episode right now, you got to come back and listen. If you have, let's stay along and let's keep going. So she's alive, and Bastion tells them the entire plan on why he need Mr. Sinister, his Prime Sentinels, what he's going to do, and everything else in between. How Genosha was time management. I was like, that was a massacre, and you call it time management? Jesus. Love this. Love it's a different villain. Not like a villain, not like a Magneto villain, not Mr. Sinister villain. Not someone just trying to take over the world. Like, this is someone who's like Thanos. And I do not support Bastion's plan, but at the same time, he's doing it in for the human race. So he's trying to do it to make sure humans win and not mutants. And eventually human extinction, as he did mention too. Now we also get Cable, Jean, and Scott go to Bastion's home, where they find out his backstory. They find out that Nimrod infected his father and gave birth to him, where how he got all the knowledge. And it leads to how he became who he is right now. And I was like, shit. So it's something they couldn't even do. And then we get that, and then we also get Hank Beast looking at where you can find out all the other Prime Sentinels, which you just watch it. All the dots light up of all the Prime Sentinels around the world, and Bastion activates them. And we get this massive action set piece between Beast, who gets knocked out pretty quickly. They start attacking the X-Mansion, and Wolverine and Nightcrawler have an awesome fight scene, which finally gets some action from Wolverine. Before you ask, where's Rogue? Rogue is still unconscious after the whack from the Prime Sentinel that took her out in the last episode. She's still unconscious. And I thought, you would have a giant fight scene with all these Prime Sentinels, and your heavyweight champ is still not out. Like, come on. So we get a really cool scene with Nightcrawler, and Nightcrawler has been such an MVP. Yeah, he has this really nice, small talking scene with Jean when Jean's still trying to deal with Madeline. And Nightcrawler, honestly, he should just be part of the team. Just stay in every episode, man. Just stay with the team altogether. You know the team needs you. Your powers are sick. You always know the right thing to say. So keep going. And also, I'm still going through X-Men 97. I'm I think I'm halfway up to season 4. So I've got one more season to go. They're going to smash out before we reach the final, which is in 3 weeks. 2 weeks now. So we get an awesome set piece. And then Jubilee is also trying to struggle the fight scene with Sunspot. For the Prime Sentinels, they're just attacking everywhere. We get a really cool set piece with Jean, Cable, and Cyclops also fighting the Prime Sentinels. Family time or family power we get, essentially. And this is why you don't mess with the Summers. They're really cool. And right at the end, it really looks like the X-Men are absolutely effed. There is no way they're getting out of this. And then Cooper, she, after learning this giant plan with Bastion, she goes to, she lets Magneto out. And he gets it free, and he does this massive EMP power across the globe to bring down the Prime Sentinels and bring them down. And in that same time, we get a look at Spider-Man 97. We get a look at Silver Samurai, Omega Red, cameos, boom, 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 left, right, and center with this. Very similar like the last episode. We got Dr. Doom, Zemo, all of them. I know the internet, I saw the comments going nuts for Spider-Man. I was like, yes, that's sick. I'm glad we got that. And and he does this. And then Cooper does say, with every relevance of Genosha, everything that happened, it just feels like, yep, it's just, it just felt like deja vu, which he goes, Magneto was right. And Magneto says, enough, and does this EMP blast across the globe, which he brings down all the Prime Sentinels. So he saves everybody. And then we get Wolverine saying, I can't believe Magneto did it. And Morph is like, what do you mean save everybody? He's like, no, he's declared war. And he's like, of course, good timing. Oh, where's Charles Xavier? Crash land. Charles Xavier is finally on Earth. And he assembles the X-Men all together to come together, that we will see in the next episode. We will see the full team, except for Gambit, all together and get ready for the events the next 2 episodes. Now, unfortunately, this is the thing, is that if it's being an absolute point in time, that means Gambit is unfortunately dead. He ain't coming back. And look, I don't know if he does come back. Does it ruin his death, his sacrifice? I do want Gambit back because I always liked Gambit, but it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen with Rogue. Now, here's a really bit interesting thing. Now, in that season trailer we see Magneto wearing his iconic outfit again. So that makes me believe that he's going to go back to his old ways and declare war, and it's time for mutants to take over. And I get it. It's terrible. It sounds like, get it. Everything the X-Men have been through, all the fights, all the people like Trask, Bastion, the Sentinels, everything, you just be like, I've had enough. It's time. And that's what it's going to look like. So it looks like Charles and Magneto are going to have that head-to-head thing. And the terrible thing is, for a very long time, I've always gone, Charles is right. Charles is doing the right thing. I swear his way makes sense. Right now, I'm all for Magneto. Like, if it came to choice, like, no, Magneto, join his side, the Brotherhood. Let's take over the whole planet. Mutants need to rule, because there is so much death that's going on. And so much that has happened repeatedly. This being technically the season 6 of X-Men. You watch the entire X-Men, you're like, they've been through a lot of shit. And it keeps happening, and new villains arrive, new things emerge. So, yeah, right now, I'm with Magneto. Magneto was right. Mutants need to take over, and it's what's going to happen. So, talents of it, however, in saying that, it's going to be Magneto and X-Men versus Bastion to stop that first. So there's multiple things at play right now, and what that's going to lead to in the last 2 episodes. Because we do know that season 2 is currently being filmed, voiced right now, and season 3 is being written, but they're both being greenlit. So we'll probably get season 2 this time next year, which will be sick. But you guys got to tell me, what do you think? How do you think this is going to end? Are you enjoying it? Are you still staying strong through the entire season? Did you love the Spider-Man cameo? Like, everyone who's a Prime Sentinel is a Terminator. What's going to happen? How are you going to cure the people that are Prime Sentinels? What happens? They're going to turn on? Is Rogue going to wake? Rogue's going to wake up anyway. And then Rogue and Magneto are going to have that scene of like, oh shit. Like, what are we going to do there? Like, this TV show is just staying absolutely strong week after week after week after week. I have not felt that low point. It is staying number one, and it's been, besides Invincible is the last show, I've been glued to my screen, even though the episodes are only for 30 minutes. The fact that we've got X-Men 97 banger, Invincible banger, X-Men 97 banger to kick off this year. It is such a good time to be a superhero fan. And I know people were like, oh, superhero fatigue. It's not superhero fatigue. We're just fatigued on shit films. That's what we got. And then we're getting this, Deadpool 3, The Boys. The fatigue is there for shit films. The fatigue is not there for quality. And that's what we have to remember going forward. And then people are like, oh, yeah, MCU's dead after Endgame. I still hate those people. I'm like, we're still got X-Men 97. We're getting Deadpool. So Marvel has had to take a breather. I'll give that. I had to take a breather, reevaluate things. But currently right now, that hype train is looking back strong. But is there a little tidbit that I did miss in X-Men 97? Was there a cameo I missed? Let me know in the comments. And how do you see the season finale going to be ending? And don't forget, we've got a very special guest that's coming in for the last episode. And we're going to wrap up everything all together. I can't wait for that episode. And as always, I appreciate everyone who's come past for this episode. Everyone who listens, watches. You guys are the absolute best. And I appreciate every single week. And it means the world to me. So, as always, until next time, happy ranting.
Thanks for listening to Lights, Camera, Rant. If you like the show, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. While you're at it, leave us a rating and review, and be sure to tell your friends. Until next time, happy ranting.